The Avalanche ecosystem is popping off, and this could be the most important video you watch in all of 2025 and really moving forward. So, without further ado, we're going to be covering some tools that will help you succeed in the Avalanche trenches. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive right into it. All right, first up, we have some stats which are absolutely impressive. The market cap of tokens launched on the Arena, a SocialFi app on Avalanche, surpassed $100 million yesterday, according to Sharples here on this chart. It is currently one of the only launch pads to have a rising aggregate token market cap in the past month. Pretty insane stuff. So, with that being said, even more alpha here, people seem to forget or are not aware that Arena will be its own layer one with Arena as the native token. Part of a thriving ecosystem is not just launching tokens, but builders building tools and dApps on top of this SocialFi L1. So, yeah, this is pretty interesting because we've been seeing, founders launch tokens. Some have products behind them, kind of similar to what we saw in Pump Fund. But what's different here is that it's connected to the actual Arena app, which is SocialFi first, as it was. And you can see who created the token, which makes for more transparency. So there's a different layer of accountability in the ecosystem. Now, I'm not saying that this is going to be like the best standard to go off of, but it's pretty interesting, right? Different dynamics. I did a different video about it originally right before the Arena popped off, but Ansem even is noticing the Arena, and really some of the bigger KOLs coming into the Arena or possibly investing in the token, but what have you. But it's pretty interesting to see this blow up. Now, covering some tools that will help you succeed is what we're going to get into. So, obviously, first up is going to be Dex Screener. Dex Screener allows you to see and filter based on the swap and what have you. So, this is what I have pretty much pulled up every single day, looking at some of these daily gainers. Shout out to Cat, by the way. We'll show some stats in that in just a second, but you can see it's dominated by a lot of these Arena logos, meaning it originated from the Arena. Now, you can actually click on the top here on the actual Arena trade tab, and it'll actually sort all the Arena tickers right there for you if you want to look at it on the fly. Sometimes I do this, and I also like to swap back. So I actually swap back and forth all day between these two tabs, and you can see other tickers coming from different exchanges like LFJ, for example. That's one of the big swaps over there, producing most of the volume for the Arena ticker itself. Cat with Pharaoh as well. So yeah, that is that. Yeah, the traction on some of these tokens is actually pretty insane. This was just today, going from like zero or pretty low market cap all the way to a little bit over a million, kind of settling around, trying to find some ground. But you can see the different traction here. Also, you can kind of see like with LFJ how it looks like. So once it bridges over, like the token kind of graduates, you can actually trade it on LFJ, which is pretty nice. This is kind of what I do sometimes is I use LFJ if I want some clean charts, and it actually shows like the current average price and current average sell price. So if you want to see a little bit more data on your chart, you might want to use LFJ. So that is that. Otherwise, it'll take you over here to arena.trade when you click on this. Which is a pretty, it's a little bit more manual work because you have to go select your token. So that's why I like to use LFJ, which is one of the OG swaps on Avalanche. So with that said, Arena Trade is actually really good for watching for activity. So currently there's not really a Photon or Nova or BullX of Avalanche just yet. Although I think they should add those. Like I think it's a no-brainer at this point. It's funny because like all these trenchers from Solana like are using these tools that just had like upgraded, but they don't have Avalanche added to it. So it's like they're missing a lot of money on the table. So with that said, Arena Trade is the native place where the Arena itself published this software, this platform, and you can see like recent tokens almost graduating, trading activity graduated. Now, I think they need to update the graduated tab a little bit to where it shows like their most recent ones. But for now, you have still a lot of information right here because the trenches don't move as quickly as they did on Solana just yet. Now, it is starting to pick up activity, as you will see in the coming days as well. But it's the same thing as like what you would see on Pump Fund or a Nova or a Photon or whatever, is these kind of like meme scope, if you will. Recent tokens almost graduating and trading activity. Trading activity is really important, and I think most of this data is coming in from the Arena social app itself. I'm not sure if it's actually coming in from another source. But with that said, you can see a lot of these tickers of who is buying and selling some of these tickers. Now, obviously, if it's 0.2 cents, like, or 20 cents, you probably should ignore that. But if you see bigger buys coming in from bigger tokens, that's something that you might want to check out, in my opinion, for now. Obviously, is like people in whales that might bundle in the future. That might be a different story. But yeah, you can kind of see some activity going on in some of the top almost graduated tokens. Now, some of these have been down here for a while, which some of them I just don't think will pop off pretty good because they're not very like funny tickers. But yeah, that's kind of like the arena.trade in a nutshell. You can see a lot more things around the app here. And I did a video on this already before. So not much has actually changed in terms of, this platform. But you can see transactions. Again, some of this can be botted, so just take all this with a grain of salt. I like to just kind of hang out on the activity page for the most part. And I don't really use the swap too much unless I have the actual contract address. So if I have a contract address like Lambo, for example, I'm able to paste it in here. And I actually will trade off of this page, which uses the LFJ backend anyways as well. So you could just grab the contract address and put it in here as well. It's the same platform. It's basically using the same backend. But you can see the data here, though. This is what's a little bit different about Arena Trade is you can see created it from the Arena social app. So this one's Gold Smalls. You can click on him if you want to go in and research who that dev is. There's people out there building some unique software. There's rugfi.xyz, but unfortunately, they don't have like a way you can just connect your wallet. Like you have to import your wallet with the private seed phrase, which is bananas to me. But I am kind of like looking at that as a potential solution to see like which devs are good and which ones are bad. But in the meantime, I'm probably not going to use their platform, but I do have some of their token in my wallet just in case they do improve the app. Now people are asking for like the Nova or, Photon or Pump Fund or whatever, not Pump Fund, but, the kind of top layer software for Avalanche. Now I've seen influencers mention, or a influencer mention mevex, and while this one is okay, like you can see some trending, some new pairs, probably not the cleanest experience I've seen out of an app, but this is something that I did see somebody use, and I don't use this app, so I can't really speak to it, but it is something that it seems like is available to the market. It does seem like people are trying to build the next photon of Avalanche, and it says here, Sunny. What if I told you it launches next week? So maybe there's something there. Maybe Sunny knows something that I don't, or maybe it's him that is launching the software. So anyways, we will see. All this is developing, so you definitely want to make sure you subscribe, follow, hit the noties and all that good stuff so you don't miss out. And now, wallet wise, people are using Raby wallet or Core wallet, which Core, I use Core. I know Raby is really good. I know a lot of people that use it have used it in the past. Always heard great things about it. They're always improving features. Core, however, has free gasless transactions on Avalanche. So when you go to, basically make a transaction, you can click the no gas slider and you'll basically get free gas, which gas is already cheap on Avalanche. But this is a pretty cool addition they've added in, I think, in my opinion, because people are like, oh, it's got to be a fast blockchain. Oh, it's got to be low gas fees. Well, Avalanche has both, like, and free gas if you use Core. Now, I do say, I don't always use free gas because I actually jack it up sometimes for obvious reasons. I want my transactions to go through pretty quickly, and all that good stuff, and not really have to compete with that. And, I just want to make sure my order fills and all that good stuff. But it is available out there for you. But yeah, crazy volume coming in from Ket, which is just one of the biggest. It's actually the biggest meme coin on Avalanche, and really a really well ran project from not only the jump from all the way from pre-sale till now, which I hold Ket as well, but they're also always experimenting and dropping some new features within their project. This could be a much bigger project in the future, so I do have my eye on this one. But you can see total swap volume of Ket on Avalanche has reached 1.2 billion. So if you're questioning, is the trenches alive in the Avalanche? It's just, this is just one ticker, guys. And like I showed you, the overall, it looks like market cap of all these different tickers or tokens launched from the arena passed 100 million yesterday, which is absolutely crazy. So this reflects an approximate 600 to 800 increase in average daily volume. Again, crazy stats coming through. Now, dBridge is another good platform to use if you are bridging from another blockchain. So, say if you have some funds over there on a different blockchain, I won't name which ones, but say if it's like Ethereum, Solana, Polygon, whatever, you can select the different blockchain. Like let's pretend it's Solana and USDC. So I could select that and then bridge that over to Avalanche, either in the native token or USDC. Or, in this case, I'll just use AVAX as the example. You could put that in and then just connect your wallet and add the address that you want to receive it at. And it takes literally like a minute. It doesn't take long at all. It's a very seamless experience and just takes a couple clicks. So shout out to dBridge, really good app, very, very seamless. There's other apps out there that let you swap across chains now. One of those is going to be Genius terminals. Genius is more of a mobile app in terms of the swap. So if you're on the go and you might not have like quick access to dBridge, or you just don't want to fumble around with it, they may have an actual mobile app. I'm not sure, but shout out to Genius, because I know I see the founder in the Avalanche trenches all the time. And their team members, I think. But with that being said, they are pretty easy swap that to use in terms of mobile phone. You can swap one meme token for another instead of having to go like on the top level of some of these like tokens. So, if you want to do like a more one-to-one, meme, like let's say I have a pop cat and I want to swap it to a cat, I can do that with the Genius app pretty much, as far as I know. So with that being said, really good app, again, if you're on the go and you don't want to have to do all the mental gymnastics to be like, okay, well, I got Avalanche, or I got Solana this or Arbitrum that, and I have to swap it to Avalanche and then Avalanche to this, that, blah, 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 blah. Well, you don't have to do that with Genius Terminal. And there's other good apps out there that are similar to Genius, but I know they're active in the Avalanche trenches, so I just wanted to give them a good shout out. And again, none of this is sponsored, by the way. This is just me giving good guys straight alpha from the trenches. And then Danielle, hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He is, or she is, developing a app here. It says Anon in action, total AI domination. Now this is kind of like a Wayfinder type of app, it looks like. So if you're not unfamiliar with Wayfinder, it is an AI app built on the premise of basically you using prompts to do your bridging and stuff like that. You can just prompt it and it will do it. So hang on. It looks like I haven't seen any updates from Wayfinder recently, but this is really cool. Hayanon allows you to do that, so you can see, and there's a confirmation, it looks like. So, it'll confirm, whether or not you want to do that. So you can see bridge and swaps, Sol from AVAX, and blah, 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 blah. And it shows you all that transaction stuff. So if you're not super techie, this may be one for you. I just wanted to give a quick shout out because they're back in the Avalanche trenches. Apparently this was an OG from I think it was Time or Wonderland. Anyways, I don't know, but they're back and they're developing, and they've been sending tickers to the absolute moon, including Lambo, which went from like 0 like a couple days ago to 21 million just in a few days, or a couple days. I don't know how long it's been, but it's been insane. You can see just in the last 24 hours, 145% increase. And again, here with Frog Nation, that was another one just today that popped off. But yeah, the trenches are very alive on Avalanche. I showed you stats, statistics, and I think this is only going to continue because layer ones are popping off like freaking crazy. I just did a post the other day showing that these Avalanche layer ones are basically beating out like entire blockchains in the top 10 in terms of transactions per second. As you can see right there, this post did really well over there on X, by the way. But yeah, you can see multiple layer ones. And again, this is just getting started. So this is just the very beginning of Avalanche. Like there's really, in the grand scheme of things, not that many layer ones out right now. And it's only going to be, it's a literal avalanche and snowball effect of how many layer ones that are going to be launching in 2025 and beyond. And we're talking about not just like, gaming or meme projects or, kind of like novel L1s. We're talking about serious businesses that are going to be launching L1s. And the big reason why is because the tech stack allows for scalability, for real world adoption, and the features that are absolutely needed. Avalanche provides those, and it's unlike any other blockchain right now in the entire blockchain space. So the Avalanche rise continues. And it's not a big surprise if you're actually learning about the tech, which I think it is kind of a big surprise to some degens because they're like, oh my gosh, like they have these aha moments continually figuring out like, oh, Avalanche has this, Avalanche has that. It's like, well, yeah, it's always been that way, but their tech actually has been improving as well, with cheaper fees and cheaper, cheaper gas, obviously, and it's only going to continue to improve. So I do see a future where Avalanche is really kind of rivaling Ethereum itself eventually, especially if Ethereum can't get around to actually doing what they're supposed to do, which is upgrade their blockchain. So I also see layer twos clogging up a lot of congestion. It seems like with some of the space, I've already seen that like whole argument, but not to go after Ethereum because I think it'll still do well. I think it's relatively, like you see BlackRock dumping in a lot of funds into Ethereum. So I'm not saying it's going to surpass Ethereum or anything like that. So don't want to get ahead of myself there. But with that said, I hope this video helps you with all the different tools and kind of like lays the groundwork where you might have an aha moment through this video that may help you succeed in what's going on. You definitely want to try to join as many like chats as possible. Now take everything with a grain of salt because there are some people that are like cheating like super early on. They'll show like a 5K ticker and dump at like 10K, which is like nothing, right? It's like peanuts. When really like the big money is going to be at 1 million plus market caps and above, like Lambo, for example. Ket could be the next like $1 billion token on Avalanche. I don't know, but yeah, there's a lot of promise on Avalanche happening right now. But again, be careful, exercise caution. Don't, use a burner wallet, be smart. If you have a lot of funds, and you want to put those away, then put that away in a ledger or a, hard or cold wallet, or what have you, and do your own due diligence. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. It's been an incredible journey so far. My last video I did was actually did really well. It had over like 6K views before the arena really popped off. Again, it's just about being early to these ecosystems and understanding where it could go and skating to the puck and not like, or skating where the puck's gonna go. And that's what it's all really been about on this channel and the entire time. I'm still in Web3 gaming, baby. So Avalanche obviously is still big Web3 gaming. I think that's going to be fun. I do play off the grid in my spare time when I'm not in the trenches. So I think that's also inevitable as well. And they've been doing pretty healthy over there with the NFTs and guns. I think it's just, again, it's just getting started. I think that they're going to have a bright future, in my opinion, if they can keep, attracting players and all that good stuff. But with that being said, that's all I got for this one. Hopefully you liked, enjoyed. Hit that sub, hit the bell, hit the like if you enjoyed the video. Share with a friend as well, as this could change their life. But with that being said, be like an NFT, be authentic, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.